The Premier League is back, and so far with 3 game weeks into the season, we've been provided with a number of interesting stuff to look at. Shocking defeats somewhere. We've seen interesting games where a number of goals were just raining in as well. So in this installment, we want to look at a number of players that we feel should be watched throughout this campaign, players that may have their breakthroughs throughout this campaign and may go on to become legends in the Premier League. So this is not in any particular order of merit. These are just random selections of individuals that we feel should be watched throughout the campaign. So we start immediately from here. So first on the list we have the 28-year-old talisman for Southampton, Danny Ings. So Danny Ings is one player who has gone through a lot in his career. After a successful stint at Burnley, he moved to a bigger club in Liverpool, where he struggled to, make himself useful for the club throughout his years there. And he had a move to Southampton which proved to be really useful for him. And for last season, he was able to come up with 22 goals in 38 outings for the Saints. And he has been fantastic throughout. A number of clubs were chasing him after his signature throughout the summer, but he decided to stay at Southampton. And so far in this campaign, he has 3 goals to his name in 3 outings as well. And I feel throughout the campaign, he may be pivotal for Southampton. His link up with Shea Adams as well, which expect a number of big stuff coming up his sleeves as well. That's why we feel that names should be looked at throughout the campaign. Second on the list, we have James Rodriguez, who made a sensational move to the Goodison Park with Everton after an unsuccessful spell at Real Madrid. In his first campaign after the World Cup for Real Madrid, he had his most productive years for the Galacticos, where he was able to come out with 17 goals and 18 assists in 46 outings. And interestingly, he had Carlo Ancelotti at the helm backing him. I think that is what influenced a lot on this move, and so far in this campaign he has been brilliant. I mean, with a goal and assist, he's just been fantastic for the Toffees throughout this campaign, and even in 3 outings he has been pulling the strings all over the pitch for them, and most of their chances and opportunities has come through his channel. So I think James Rodriguez can be consistent throughout the campaign with his performances so far as well, and I feel eventually he may go on to become a noticeable player throughout the campaign for Everton. Next on the list we have Kai Havertz, who made his move to Chelsea from Bayer Leverkusen. A lot of money on the table, and I think that comes with a lot of pressure, and I think we've seen that in his outing so far. It's been a difficult start to life at Chelsea for him, but I think he's been handling the things okay, if you ask me. I think against Meslier he had himself much of a party with his hat-trick as well, and against West Bromwich Albion he had himself an assist as well. I think it's a slow way of adapting, but eventually he will get things happening for him. Once he gets into the rhythm, understanding his teammates, and the return of the likes of Ziyech and Pulisic, we should see Chelsea become a formidable team going forward. I think with Kai Havertz at the helm, they should be seeing a number of goals and assists coming in from his side as well. I think eventually this guy can become a great in the Premier League as well, and even for Chelsea. So I think throughout this season we should take a look at him, even though he's had a slow start so far. Next on the list we have his compatriot in Timo Werner. The 24-year-old also made a move from Leipzig to Chelsea, and throughout his stay in Leipzig he was able to come up with 95 goals and 40 assists in 159 games for the German side. I think he boasts a lot of qualities, from his pace, his anticipation, his movement, his finishing, his composure, as well as his dribbling capabilities as well. And I think even though he's had a slow start to the English game so far, we should expect to see him growing into the game, understanding the culture of football in England slowly, but eventually he will. And with the likes of Ziyech, Pulisic and Werner as well, eventually he will get the scoring boost back on, and we should be expected to see a number of goals coming from Timo Werner throughout this campaign. Next on the list we have Matias Pereira, a 24-year-old right winger from Brazil, who spent last season alone at West Bromwich Albion, where he was very influential for them. In 42 outings in the championship, he was able to come up with 8 goals and 20 assists. That is mind-blowing figures on the assist side, and he has been a good contributor to the game for West Bromwich Albion. And so far in this campaign with 3 outings, he has a goal and assist as well. And he was involved in every single goal in their game against Chelsea as well. That tells you a lot about his involvement in the game, his influence on the game for the Baggies. And we should expect Matias Pereira to probably move to a bigger side should the Baggies fall out of the Premier League this season, so far as he's consistent and shows his qualities throughout. So I think Matias Pereira is worth looking at throughout this campaign as well. Next on the list we have Christian Pulisic, who had a storm of a season after the lockdown, and he was fantastic for Chelsea, instrumental in helping them finish fourth in the Premier League last season. No involvement so far in the Premier League due to fitness and injury issues, but we should expect him back on the pitch anytime soon. And I think having him in the Chelsea setup is a plus for Lampard, and having the quality that he provides on the pitch as well with the likes of Ziyech, Timo Werner, Kai Havertz, Mason Mount, we should see Chelsea firing in on goals. I mean, he's really brave, great anticipation from him. His direct style of play and dribbling is one that has been of benefit to Chelsea throughout last season. And even for this season, once he gets back, you should expect more from Christian Pulisic. So I think throughout the season, he will be one worth looking at, and he may actually give them a better, dimension to the attack as well. Next on the list, we have Dominic CalvertLewin, the Evertonian striker who has been fantastic so far this season with 3 outings. He has 5 goals to his name, and throughout last season too was very instrumental for the trophies as well. And if you remember that throughout last season, he was supposed to come up with 13 EPL goals. For a side that had poor, supply coming towards him throughout last season, those turnover of goals is quite impressive. But now he has James Rodriguez next to him as well, and I think that'll give him better supply of ball. And so far, we've seen it so far. He has 5 goals to his name, and that's evident of the quality of supply that now he has at his disposal. So we should expect to see Dominic CalvertLewin coming up with a number of goals as well throughout the campaign. He's worth looking out throughout the campaign. He may go on to become a great for Everton anytime soon. Next on the list, we have Tarik Lamte, who made a sensational move from Chelsea to Brighton at the beginning of the year. I think that is a bargain of a purchase for Brighton. I think they've been enjoying services throughout the beginning of the year till now. And I think he's one player that catches the eye. His bravery is off the charts. Anticipation is fantastic. His tackling is great, and his pace and acceleration is off the chart as well. He's one player who is never afraid, to be involved in a tussle for the ball, and he has been giving his all on the pitch every time he gets out there. I think in time from now, we should see him returning back to a bigger side. Probably Chelsea will try and get him back, or move to Man City, Man United, Liverpool, or something. But definitely, he's worth moving to a bigger side, and anytime soon we'll be seeing him in the national team setup as well. And so for Tarik Lamptey, he's been fantastic so far, and he's come up with 3 assists as well, with 2 coming from the penalty spot as well as 1 from open play. So he's one player worth looking at throughout the campaign, and we are sure to see him dishing out more quality performances throughout the campaign. Next on the list, we have Reece James, and Reece James is another player who has proven to be fantastic so far in this campaign. In his first outing in this season for Chelsea in the Premier League, he came up with a fantastic goal as well as an assist. And I think throughout the campaign, that was last season, he was also consistent enough, and he's giving Aspilicueta a run for his money. I think he's one player who eventually will become the first option for Frank Lampard moving forward for Chelsea in the right back position as well. And with his direct way of moving the ball forward, with his great tackling and anticipation, this guy has it all to become one of the best fullbacks in the game. And I think throughout this campaign, we must take a look at him as he goes on to give us a number of great performances. Next on the list, we have Phil Foden, who was involved in something of an issue, of a drama, of a controversy in his recent call up to the senior national team as well. But I think he has put all those stuff behind him and is looking forward to another successful campaign. I think with the departure of David Silva as well, I think Man City fans have a player here who can fit in well and replace him, not entirely, but can still come up with a number of goods for them. And to not forget, he's also young, and I think going forward he has a lot to offer, a lot of development coming up his way, and I think eventually he may become one of the best English players in the game also. With his great technical ability and passing ranges, I think Man City fans will enjoy having Phil Foden in their setup. And finally, we have Meslier, who made a move from Lorient permanent in this recent transfer window. And last season he spent the season on loan at Leeds United. He played second fiddle to Kiko Casilla throughout the campaign, but now has made the goalkeeping spot his own and is the first option for Marcelo Bielsa throughout the campaign so far. And he has come up with 1 clean sheet so far. I think he made a lot of interesting and fantastic saves against Liverpool, and also in their game against Sheffield as well, he pulled out a great save. So I think this guy can become a very good goalkeeper for Leeds United and probably save them from relegation with his fantastic saves as well. I think he is worth looking at throughout the campaign with his reflexes, anticipation, and his aerial reach. He's one great young goalkeeper for Leeds United. So I think these are the players that we think we should take a look at throughout the campaign. And let us know what you think about our selection. If you think we left somebody out, just let us know in the comment section. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to Sports Analytica. And expect more great things from us in the coming weeks. We'll see you later and we'll talk to you in a while.